Tengok macam gini pun sedih kawan-kawan kan. Kawan-kawan semua masih kerja kat sini, ada grup kan. Tengok 1 bulan pun macam gitu juga. Gaji tak naik, barang naik. Jadi diorang tak boleh cover susah.
It's 10 a.m. in Gelang Patah, Johor Bahru. Mohd Hafizie Shamsuddin is getting ready for work. For 14 years, the 41-year-old container driver made the 17-kilometre-long trek to his workplace located at Gelang Port in Singapore. The port is a stone's throw from the Tuas immigration checkpoint between Malaysia and Singapore. Previously, this meant waking up before sunrise.
Start kerja pukul 5.30, pukul 5 macam tu. Tapi pagi sebelum pukul 4.30 mesti nak keluar. 4.30 tu kira dah jam lah tu. Dah ramai orang dekat port, dekat custom. Lama kerja 12 jam. Kerja 12 jam, kadang-kadang OT, kadang lambat sikit kan.
These days, Hafizie has a more flexible schedule as a senior driver. Nonetheless, he thinks the prior years of sleep deprivation were worth it. While he was working in Malaysia, Hafizie earned around 4,000 Malaysian ringgit, equivalent to 1,100 Singapore dollars at the current exchange rate. Today, working in Singapore, he makes about 4 times more.
Boleh beli 2 rumah, boleh beli kereta ke, macam nak beli motor pun boleh bayar cash. Macam gitu. Kalau kat sini kita motor pun kita biasa buat loan kan, loan kedai lah apa kan. Tapi kalau sana motor dah tak okey, nak beli terus beli. Tak payah nak buat loan apa kan. Kira gaji 1 bulan tu kita dah boleh beli apa kita nak beli. Dapat simpan. Alhamdulillah. Kalau macam dulu nak simpan pun kita simpan nanti pakai balik. Pakai balik. Tapi kalau kerja kat Singapura tu kita gaji tu bulan lepas tu masih ada lagi. Separuh daripada gaji tu kita ada lagi.
In the last 2 decades, the Singapore dollar has appreciated by about 60% against the ringgit. Last year alone, the Singapore dollar strengthened more than 7% to an average of 3.3960 Malaysian ringgit to 1 Singapore dollar. Today, it has reached 3.50 Malaysian ringgit to the dollar. And that means more disposable income for people like Hafizie through favourable currency conversion. There are concerns a falling ringgit could accelerate Malaysia's brain drain as workers seek remuneration in a stronger currency.
For a lot of Malaysians, when they talk about the foreign exchange between Malaysia ringgit and Singapore dollar, that is one of the main motivation for them to come over to Singapore.
As of 2023, it's estimated that there are 1.86 million Malaysians who've migrated abroad. 1.13 million of them living in Singapore. 3 out of 4 of these are either skilled or semi-skilled workers.
If we look at the Department of Statistics Malaysia that study in 2022, what they have found very interestingly is that, of course, the major part of those who migrated is Chinese, but the second, not less large group is Malays. So you see, dynamic might have changed. What attracts them abroad is actually equal opportunity, better career prospects in terms of promotion as well as breadth and depth of job market, better pay, perks, salaries, benefits and so on.
56-year-old commodities writer Bharani Krishnan left Malaysia for the United States with his family 18 years ago. His daughter, Harvanya, was just 4 years old then.
In Malaysia, the inflation is pretty high now too. I think since the pandemic, everything is like all over the world. It's all gone up in Malaysia because they have a problem with the currency as well. The currency has been going down, and that's hurting them a lot because they import quite a lot of stuff there, and that's really hurting people's disposable incomes.
The ringgit's impact on outward migration may be temporary, but those who do leave may not be inclined to return, even if the currency recovers. For one, Bharani's children don't wish to return to Malaysia with him.
My kids, I don't think they're coming back because my daughter was only 5 when she left, not even 5, 4. She has been American almost all her life. And my son was born here. They identify themselves as American more than Malaysian, and I can't change that in them.
At the same time, a low currency could deter inward migration, especially if expatriate salaries are denominated in ringgit. This was the case for 47-year-old technologist Pedro Custodio, who came to Malaysia 2.5 years ago to tap the growing Asian markets. He had previously worked in the digital space in Europe, Asia, and the Middle East.
I moved to Malaysia before the ringgit went into this downward cycle. If I had known, I would just have made probably different provisions regarding my salary. For example, when an expat moves into a country, normally there's a parity exercise between what salary you're making in whatever country you're coming from versus the salary you're going to receive in Malaysia. If the currency continues to decrease, although you negotiated a certain salary, in the end you start receiving less and less salary from what was negotiated.
Last year, the government reactivated Pemuda, a task force with a purview to improve Malaysia's business competitiveness.
In year 2023, there are more than 150,000 expatriates employed and has contributed to Malaysia's economy. These expatriates are here to help develop Malaysians and ensure that technology is successfully transferred. The depreciation of a Malaysian ringgit is a challenge. However, there are two groups of expatriates. One is to help the new investments to start up or to expand and to transfer technology. These expatriates are paid by their companies in their home country currency, so that should not really be a problem. The other group are hired by companies in Malaysia and paid in local currency. The appreciation of the Malaysian ringgit may indeed impact the attractiveness of Malaysia as a destination for expatriates.
For the first group, the low ringgit is a boon. According to 2022 data, maintaining a comparative standard of living in Malaysia would cost 43% less than in the UK and about 52% less than in the United States. Simply put, a low ringgit can be attractive to expats, as their savings and salary go a longer way when converted to the Malaysian currency. In fact, a 2023 Inter-Nation survey had Malaysia as the best Asian country for expats.
I think there's a lot of other soft factors, like the fact that you can have a better house, better living conditions. There's a lot of greenery. You can easily move around. There's great infrastructure, health care in Malaysia. So those are kind of the items that I try to use to offset the depreciation of the ringgit.